Okay, we're live, Christine.
Well, welcome everybody to another live show. You've got Christina, Henry, and Rick, and we're here with the Global People's Monetary System, here to answer questions and give you answers on what's transitioning here on Mother Earth. So go ahead and take it away, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, Christina.
Quickly, I gotta say it's only available for your friends to see. So if you can pop over to Facebook and change that before we take it away here, that would be cool.
So. Yeah. Well, you could speak, Henry, while I'm doing this.
Okay. Yeah. So we're still getting a little bit situated here, but. One thing I did want to definitely touch on today, just as we're getting slightly organized still here, is that we're looking for people that know how to work these programs to help us share on more platforms. That would be great. And also another important thing that we're going to share today, well, we're doing a question and answer, but something important for us to share, or for me to share today, is that a lot of people that are awakened, Rick's touched on this before. We've had everything taken from us. You could say in the material world, monetarily, for the most, the awakened ones did not have a whole lot of money, and that is divinely so that we will be motivated to share the new system and to create the new, because there's a huge population of young people that I know and that, that exist on the planet that are awakened and that don't have any property or land to live on. And, they're sick of being abused by the old system. And so it's important that people do share the new system to create the new, otherwise it doesn't get created. But I just felt like it's important to touch on the fact that there are a lot of awakened ones that really need to dip off and get involved to create this. And the reason why they don't have huge amounts of money right now and might be experiencing what might seem like a struggle or a lack of comfort is because it's a divine reason, or catalyst for us to create the new. So, yeah.
Rick, were you able to get that moving?
Yeah, I did believe I had it accomplished.
Yeah, it is. It's public now, yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay, great. Good. We're doing it. Woohoo.
Oh, yeah, I can see Carolyn. Thank you for joining us, Carolyn. I'm going to go ahead with a couple of aspects while we wait for Rick to get hopefully listening on Facebook. I did want to do another clarion call for all of the people that want to be a global representative, and that would be either for a country, a state, a region across the globe. We're gathering those, and we're going to be doing a meeting with all the global representatives soon. So if you haven't already, go ahead and get your form filled out and get that sent in. You can go onto the Facebook group under the Files tab, and there's a form in there. So looking forward to receiving those and on the call. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. So for anyone watching this again, Henry and I did a discussion on what the global people's monetary system is. We did a discussion in a YouTube, and Henry will put that in the chats, and we'll have that somewhere for each one to access. And what we suggest is you should look at that one and in conjunction with this one. So it's a two-part series. So just letting you know that we gave a description, more or less, what it is and why we're doing it. And now we are taking some questions on it. So thank you, Henry. Yeah, we see it up in the chat. So great. Any questions yet?
No, not yet. Let's see. But I think Christina has a big list of questions, right?
I do. So, how about if we do a little chat on profit and loss in regards to how things are run currently and how things are going to show up in the new system?
Okay, great. I love that. You wish me to elaborate a little bit on that?
Why don't you start it off, and I'll poke in and spirit leads me.
Okay, so with this new system, once we have it implemented, there is no loss with it. It's only gain. We keep going forward, activating money and funding as you need it, and we just keep going forward. There is no debt attached to money because you just don't need it, and us we're able to create the unlimited money, so you don't require any payback or what have you, any debt with this.
So in the old system, when companies were in play, like now we have sole proprietorships, we have small corporations, and then we have large global corporations. The structure that's set up with those, especially in the big companies, are really driven by the profit for the shareholders to encourage them to invest money into the companies for growth and then pay back dividends. Because in the new system, there is no longer a need for income, additional income like profit and loss, dividends, lease payments, rental payments for landlords and such. That's no longer going to be necessary. The debt structure and the way that it's set up in the corporation currently to make profit and loss will not be necessary. There will be increases, there will be abundance, and there will be growth, but there will no longer be any losses because the accounting system is going to be eliminated. The current accounting system, the debt accounting system, will be gone. So hopefully that gives a little more clarity on that particular subject. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Henry?
Not really. Like, it's so simple. People like to, overcomplicate it, but I think you guys touched on it nicely.
So another thing, while we're waiting for questions to come in, so let us know if this is something that pops on. This is one that I know that some people may have some concern about, and that is what happens to their existing assets. So if somebody has a large sum of money in the bank, or they have some other tangible assets, what's going to happen with that? Chris, you want to give some understanding on that one? What's going to happen?
Yeah. What we're hearing before I answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm hearing on this end, it seems like there's some echoing that comes through, Henry. So you just muted your microphone and not stopped it. So yeah. So we're getting feedback. Yeah. Okay, but it sounds pretty good now. Could you rephrase or just re-say that question, please, Christina?
So
yeah.
One of the questions that's coming up, and it is a concern for some because they have not yet gotten the understanding, and that's what we're here to help them with. and that is what happens with their existing assets. So if you have an individual who has played in the prior system and they've accumulated, whether it's in a bank account or some hard assets or things like that, what's going to happen with all of that?
Okay, with all of this, no one loses any of it. You retain all of this, and with the new system, so here is your old, what you have now. Here is the new system. So you keep all of your old, plus you get from the new system. Now, with your savings, what you have in this old system in retirement funds, if you will, it is transitioned into the new system. So it's just a total win-win. There is no loss. Like if you're a multi-millionaire and you register to support this with the people to create your own unlimited funding, well, it's all honored within the system. Now, I wish to just say what is also going to occur, because this is an important factor, is that with this new system, all currencies have to, private chat keeps popping up, but all currencies will be honored into the new system as par. So this would be similar to what they were saying with the GCR global currency reset, with all currencies going to par. So it needs to be done like this so that we do create the people's global exchange method of exchange currency. And this is again, it's a temporary meaning that it will be phased out in time, perhaps a couple years, perhaps even less, where humanity comes to find, as we go to the first phase, more and more, they don't require money. Once the community and the overall sharing and working together is more established, then there becomes a non-requirement for money. There will be committees and administrators of which are the true representatives of the people to assure that logistics upon the planet and everything keeps moving to get food and essential supplies where you may need it. So all of these trading routes, if you will, still exist. However, they will not be trading in the sense that there's monetary value with it, because you need to remember that capitalistic ways and competition is eradicated, because it becomes nonsensical where this is a full funding monetary system that you need to have any profit, that you need to be paid for anything. The only reason that we are having money is because we need to transition what is here now and to maintain and honor each one's current position. We need to have the money to transition them, if you will. So this is why money in the beginning will still be exchanged with some companies or what have you, but all of the while it's transitioning out where companies do not operate, let's say, by the financial markets in the way they used to.
So we have a question.
Yeah.
Did you catch that, Henry?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. We had a question in the chat about whether or not the current banks will be used for this new system. And the answer to that is that in the beginning, there will be the similar platform as to what we have as far as the funds being distributed and used. But in addition to that, there'll be some new technology, which is going to be based on the quantum technology as far as for people to be able to access their funds. Because as we know, there are areas on the globe that not everybody has a bank account. So they will be having something that would be in the form of a chargeable debit card, or there's some other words that are used, card systems that are used across the globe that would allow people to have those cards recharged for being able to transact, do commerce, and get their needs met. I did want to add on to something that Rick was saying as far as the monetary and people keeping what they currently have. This system is definitely all-inclusive, and that's one of the things that's hugely different than what is the current system is. And that is that there will be a minor exclusion. The minor exclusion would be if people had funds that were received illegally, illegitimately, through criminal activities and things like that. Those funds would not transfer over. So because they won't fit within the new system. Quantum will not allow funds that have any tracking to anything that was not done, that was done in an illegal or a criminal fashion. So yeah.
Yeah, and by criminal you mean inhumane. Is that like
inhumane?
In terms of the new divine natural law.
Thank you for that clarification, Henry. That is huge, which can roll off into a whole nother thing. Did anybody see any other questions before we, I love what you brought up. I'd like to address that. Was there anything else though that, any other questions that we had?
What I wish to just say with what you were just saying there, Christina, again, let's say the majority of the world has seen already all of the crime being exposed that was committed. So the documentation and the evidence is out there, which is doing an amazing job for us, because when we get to this stage, the criminals or the illicit funds are all, let's say, appropriated where they should be. So we don't need to contend with that sort of distinguishing what is legitimate with one and what is not. So I would say that's taken care of, and it's something that we do not need to get in with this. What we need to do is just create the full funding, and anyone that was criminal or illegit, by default, it is, let's say, judgment occurs, their own judgment. So
yes.
We don't need to get too much in it.
Indeed, at the time in which the transition happens, it will already have been dealt with. And just to answer any hidden questions that people may have, is I know that people have had the curiosity of those who have done criminal actions and wanting to know whether or not we know that there's individuals out there who are have large bank accounts that have done with criminal activities. Those will already be translated prior to the conversion.
But we also, we don't, as individuals, you don't need to be concerned with who was the white collar crime or monetary crimes before. You're not concerned with them. You're concerned with activating your full unlimited funding. So it doesn't matter what they do to you, to us. We're accessing that unlimited funding, and it's an unlimited supply of it because we create it instantly as we need it, the funding to put in places, but we do need to keep a couple measures of control over that, because you cannot have the whole planet stopping. So just some minimal, let's say not stringent, some minimal, what's the word, Christina? Conditions?
It's like a filtering process. As we move from our debt system over into comfort, it is a transition. Just like if you were in a company, right, and getting some new software, there is a little time, and sometimes it's only a matter of a few hours, and sometimes it's a few weeks. to do the filtering, but it will be done very, very fast in comparison to things that we've seen in the past. So I think the point that Rick was also trying to bring into play, and that is, this is the time for us to shift our focus on that in which we want to create. I think we spent a lot of time last year, right, in opening our eyes in the 2020 vision of what was happening that we may not have seen, that is now very apparent and continuing to be brought out. But for us, that is the leaders, the core, right, helping everybody move forward to see this new system. And that is to focus on that, what we want to create, right? And ask more questions as far as how far can we move? How far can we expand?
Bravo.
We have a question. How do we catalyze the whole thing? Maybe if you could ask a little more clarity on that, but maybe this would be a great time to go into what our plan is a little bit as far as the 3 phases. That might be able to answer that question a little bit. I don't believe that we went on. Did we go on that last live? Does anybody recall?
We did sort of. So she's looking for the catalyst. The catalyst has already been initiated when we took the first step to begin this and to begin informing the people. So the catalyst is already working. The next major phase of the catalyst, if you will, is when we acquire approximately 1 billion to 1.7 billion signatures from global peoples. And it's at that stage that you become the most dominant voice upon the planet. And let me say with that, anyone that's been watching all of the real news, the alternative news, you can see the size of these protests that in demonstrations that the mass media are not showing you. And this is significant. But with these, when you look at the alternative news and all of the ones with their own YouTubes that they've been sharing in their lives on the social platforms, it shows you huge numbers of people globally in so many countries. But what you're seeing, even though these numbers are huge in the demonstrations and they're growing daily, what you are only seeing with the amount of demonstrators, which are huge, is only the tip of the huge iceberg of other ones that are sitting, in their house. Some saying, "What do I do?" It's all doom, and they don't know they have a choice, but they know something's wrong. And then there's others just sitting back, observing as well, that are not on the front lines joining in the demonstrations. But, and if you really want to look at it from just a person's view that is not even awake, they've known for years that something is wrong, and, it's ridiculous to live the way it was by the control of money. So when you put this choice that we have before everyone, it gets to the point where a child younger than 12 years old can even, want to choose this, because this is their future. This is, their life, instead of going into the ridiculous misery and poverty, enslavement, the sickness that is caused by the control of money. So what we're doing is eradicating that control of money that was put upon each. So we are liberating and opening up the access to the unlimited money. We need to get over this way, which, as we keep going forward, as Christina said, we're activating the comfort level first, then we just keep broadening that out. There is no limit with this. And this differs with your society and all of your governments that you have today, which has a looping mechanism. You get up, you go to work, you pay taxes, and boom, then you die or what have you. But they keep you working and working continuously for money to exist while you're missing all of the life and the freedom and all your liberties. And also, you never, and many can attest to what I'm saying, it's assured that once they have you in the bubble, that, you know, they don't let you out of that, and they can strip you, as you were saying at the beginning, I think, Henry, of, you know, everything that you have. So to try to maintain a control. But this, their box, it's broken. It's wide open, meaning that everyone will transition up out of the box into the free, unlimited money.
Yeah, and with the new money, like the reason it's a transition is it will very quickly, once the new money is distributed, the first installment, or however you want to call it, everybody will be comfortable straight away. And so naturally people will share abundance, you know. So, you know, nobody has any lack. So all of a sudden everybody has everything they need. So if somebody has an excess of any kind of natural resource, you know, that they, on the land they live on or whatever, they'll freely share it, and everybody will do so because it's an excess and there's no need to like hoard anything anymore. And very quickly the inter-community exchange will like skyrocket because everybody in the community has more than enough money, and so they'll just gift the other things because they don't need money, because we're all getting money from the people. We're all getting paid by ourselves, and we are all contributing too, you know. So everybody has to contribute, say 10 hours a week, but we're contributing in a way, like our contribution literally creates the money. So by contributing, we're creating the money, and we're doing our part, and we're only going to contribute by doing things we enjoy, which is divine, and that's what makes sense. So we're all going to be having fun, contributing, doing things we enjoy, and then we'll have all this free time instead of working, you know, 40 hours a week and being stressed afterwards in that loop that Rick was talking about, where you're just stuck in a loop. All of a sudden, where everybody will have all this time to be creative and use all this money that they have to build things. Like, so many people need houses, and that's another reason why we need to create the money as a transition, is to build these communities and houses and create the comfort that people need, so we can get rid of the poverty and fear consciousness on the planet. And that's why it's divinely assured, part of this ascension, that the new monetary system comes in for the people. But the money will especially be used by people for buying things that are not within the community, like building supplies from Home Depot or wherever you go, like things that are coming from different parts of the world. You know, the money is still going to be used for some time for these things until the whole planet has got the whole abundance consciousness that will start at a community basis. So it's beautiful the way it's all going to plan out, and it is panning out. Yeah,
we already have that beautiful flow going. And I'd like to share some answers with some of the questions that we've had in the chat. One of the questions is taxes. What do we do in the meantime? And I think that's a personal choice of how you want to handle that. There's definitely very many options, and I know that in the past Rick has shared what those are, but we can go into that more deeply. But before the chat questions go too far, because they've scrolled through, another question was whether or not this would be the same as the UBI, the Universal Basic Income, that's going into place in Canada. And no, this is completely different. There's many structures that have been shared before. There's some that are attempting to be implemented now and very quickly. So this is a separate system from anything that is attached to any current government. So There will be a basic income, but it's really not basic. We'd like to call it comfort. It's a 3-step process. We're moving from debt to comfort to infinite abundance. And the reason why we call it comfort is it's going to be above poverty level. It's going to be enough money for people to begin to erase the fear of where the money's coming from, to feed their family, to be able to live comfortably. They'll also be getting a money up front, an initial amount that will help people to do what they need immediately. And whether that's buy a car or rent a place or have medical needs or clothe their family, whatever that is, they'll have a lump sum up front. The basic amount, which is the comfort amount that everybody will get on a monthly basis, that amount is also just temporary. It does not last forever because it's going to increase over time. But kind of like what Rick was talking about previously, and that is most people who win the lottery and they get $50 million at the end of one year, they're bankrupt, divorced, and probably an addict of something. So it's not a matter of control that we're not giving the infinite abundance up front. It's for the comfort, for people to be able to transition from the debt to the comfort. It gives them time to heal all of their bodies, their body, mind, spirit, and emotion, so that they can receive the infinites that's available to them and transition into that. I don't know if there was any other questions, but I did want to kind of go into charities. But Rick, do you want to add something?
Yeah, just before you go there, what's going to occur, we're going to have the inception of the comfort sum. You know, it may be 15,000 US, whatever, when we get there. But also at the same time, upon inception, anyone that requires one vehicle, if you don't have a vehicle, it's good for everyone to have a vehicle. You just very simply, without a bunch of stringent paperwork, you just need a vehicle and you need a place to live. These are included in your essentials and in your comfort. So you get your comfort money, and plus, if you need these, you get these as well. So also, having said that, like when we have the inception of it, once we start getting it going further, then you begin to experience deflation, extreme deflation, because what you have in the old economics is you have a period where all companies, their inventory existing is bought up by the comfort money, you know, with the basic needs, what everyone needs. But what occurs at the same time, when their inventory of these companies are being bought up, and that money is worth the same value that goes into our monetary system, at the same time, their employees that they had no longer require the payrolls. So therefore, your prices begin to drop rapidly, and ones will find that, let's say, one of the reasons why we're saying, you know, 5,000 a month for 40 hours a month or 10 hours a month thereafter is because you're not going to need a lot of money, because you're funding with the same money the big companies as well, that, you know, the manufacturers. So where there's no expense to what they're doing, then it becomes no reason to charge any money to make a gain. So very quickly you see a rapid process of deflation occur without complicating it too much with their economics. But you can see how simple it really is as we, you know, get out of the requirement for money at all upon the planet.
Perfect example with what Rick was saying about the companies. If the company no longer has to pay for the land that they're renting or the building that they're renting, and they don't have to pay wages and insurance, oh my gosh, and Social Security and taxes, right? You have an item that goes from $100 down to $5 or $10. right? And so that $5,000, that may not seem like a lot for some people that live in the more expensive areas geographically. They can see where something that was once $1,000 is maybe now only $100 because all of those other basic things are already taken care of. There was a question, which is excellent, about Social Security and pension. And what about that? Those things will be transitioned over time. You're not going to lose anything in this system. What you're going to do is you're going to gain. Most individuals that are living on retirement funds, whether that be Social Security, disability, some sort of pension, pardon me, those, for the most part, most of those individuals are actually living within the debt system, because the money that they're receiving is not going to be at the level of comfort that the new system will be providing. So I hope that answers the question. I'm going to mute myself and cough just a minute. If you want to take it over, Rick.
Yeah. So what you'll see occur with this, for example, let's just take Canada, perhaps one on seniors' pensions, what they got from the governments. Maybe you get 1,600, a couple thousand Canadian dollars a month. That's going to be, let's say, replaced most likely fully, because when we reach this stage, the way the governments are going, they're no longer going to be existing and distributing funds. So you're actually, let's say, if you're getting 2,000 a month now as a senior, you're going to be getting a 5 or even more, or both of them. So again, this is an add-on and a top-up to give you everything that you need. So there's no, and this is another reason why we say this is unlimited, and it's unlimited, and it's not limited to the comfort level at as well, because we keep expanding upon it. You have your comfort, then you enjoy more and more and more as the stress is totally relieved from you, from each one, and from the total world. So it transitions, what I like to call it, in at least a human state, out of the savage, primitive state it was in, the nonsense state.
So I think there's been a response that I think is a great topic for all to hear and understand, and that is that somebody was saluting us and congratulating us on this new system, and there was a response from one of the attendees that said that it's communism. And so I don't know, I'd like to succinctly describe that it's not anything close to communism. For one, communism deals with government, and the structure that is being set up is not one of government. Government is a pyramid type of aspect, and what we're looking at is an inverted pyramid. It's the people at the top. The people are the ones that are setting the system. The people are the voice, not the government. There will be small groups of people that will be council, but those people will be directed from the people, not the other way around. Not the way it was meant to be, the way it is currently, which is the government is directing the people. Even though the people currently do have the power, it's time for the people to collectively gather, which is what we're doing here, so that they will be the voice going forward. So I hope that addresses the comment, and anybody that may have been having that question on the inside and didn't ask it.
Oh, what I wish to suggest, anyone that begins like coming out and making statements like it's communism or whatever, that is done from a place of the individual's ignorance. And what ignorance actually is the lack of knowledge. For anyone to take 10 or 15 minutes and to sit down and look at the plan, how it supports all of humanity and fixes every problem upon the planet and gives the full liberty, that is not communism. This is actually bringing heaven to earth. So I
Yes.
suggest before one has a preconceived notion or tends to jump to conclusions, take 10 or 15 minutes and see what this is about. And yes, it's true. You can believe it. And this is what you can do, and it's what we're doing. So just need to say that. Take more time. Do your research before you speak. Act in the new ways. Be informed. Thank you.
Be informed, indeed. So I love the question. Taxes? No property taxes? That's right. No property taxes. There won't be any taxes. No income taxes. No fees. No fines. All of those things were designed to build somebody else's bank account. And that's no longer necessary to build somebody else's bank account, because we the people will have access to what we need, and we won't have in place anymore a structure of government or laws or rules which is currently in existence. That will all be transitioned out. It's very simple when we work from God's law. It's very simple when we work from common law. We don't need all of those libraries and books to restrict us from being the sovereigns that we already are, and that is our birthright.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone, you don't need it written, as Christina just said. You carry in your heart what's right or wrong, your morals and your ethics, and you don't need it written. And it's simple for all to live together like that. And
How we doing? How we doing on time, Henry?
It's been 42 minutes so far. Ivaka has a comment here. He says, "Hi Rick, I live and work in the UK, but I'm from Croatia. So where can I claim this financial support, UK or Croatia?" And I don't know if you want to elaborate on my answer, but it's as simple as it's uniting with the global people. So it doesn't actually require you to be registered with any nation as such, but just we're uniting the global peoples, and the countries are more just, and we're just going to refer to them as geographical places, but the divine law will exist on all the countries, and the new people's money as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Henry. It's like Henry said, it's not a matter of claiming it. It's what you will have. It's your right. It just is what we are. There will be additional funds available above and beyond the initial monies and your monthly comfort. There will be a place that will be on the website for people to request funds, which was one of the things I'd love to go into now, which is charity. There's so many places on the earth right now that need our help, right? And because of the current structure, we're not able to funnel the funds necessary to get people their basic needs, let alone their comfort needs. So the comfort needs are coming, and that'll come through the funding. But in addition and beyond that, we will start with some very large humanitarian groups. Things that are already in structure. There's a lot of them that will get funding immediately. That are already out there and doing good work. And then there will be a lot of other people that will step forward because of the funding that's available and want to help either where they are, or they're going to want to travel somewhere else and to be able to help communities so that they can get their community up and running with a minimum of basic immediately, and then move into comfort and abundance beyond that. So the concept of charity is going to be beautiful, because it's going to go away, and that will be wonderful for everybody.
Indeed. And if we look at charity today, if I may, and in the past, in actuality, there's only very few pennies on one's dollar that they donate that actually get to where it has to go. All of the charities, for the most part, some aren't, but most of them are infiltrated. And with some of the charities, you have a CEO of the charity driving a Mercedes or what have you. It's blatant. While someone, while some poor children are starving somewhere, so it's very obvious where your money went and why only pennies ever got there. So uh, yeah, and that's all going to change. So there's not going to be any charities like it was in the new. The charity is what each one will activate within their self, but it's more than a charity. It's their unlimited supply to comfort and wealth.
So it was a question about whether or not somebody needed a physical address, and no, that will not be necessary. There are people who currently don't have physical addresses, but I'm sure in time that will change as far as everybody on the planet having a home or residence of a home of their own, whether they're renting or traveling, because a lot of people would choose to not just live in one place. They'll have the opportunity to move. To relocate, right? Whether it be seasonally or due to family or what have you. So that'll be open because the borders will no longer be shut to people. As far as having to have an address, no, because they'll have because again, if you don't have a bank account or what have you, you'll just need that card. There'll be multiple places, multiple ways for people to access the funds with the new quantum system. So just be rest assured that it won't just be one way. Rick?
Yeah, and thank you for that, Christina. And this is why we're keeping it vague in this aspect as well. Because what occurs when we get this big voice, then we have so many avenues at our fingertips how to distribute the money and to set up the simplified procedures to do so as well. So we don't need to concentrate our effort now on these things that will be taken care of as our think tank expands, as more and more keeps joining this. So we're creating it all together, and we'll be having professionals come in, you know, good ones that were in the banks, the financial markets, in the IT places. We'll have everyone coming in that will make this work. So we don't need to plan and make plans that far ahead, because sometimes from making plans from a faraway place, you may restrict your options. So it's best to let everyone create it together as we evolve and flow forward. That's where all your solutions are at. And with this, there is no ego. It's no bad ego. It's everyone working together to create this. This is the most common sense way to free humanity, that everyone just works together with it, and it gets done very quickly that way. It's the most efficient way to do this, to free humanity. And having said that, as I keep saying, in 2 days, if your governments and your world leaders were for you, they would do what we're doing here now in 2 days, because they're tied to the banks, the governments. All of you that may be watching, you get direct deposits perhaps from your governments, from your banks. It's already occurring, what we're doing, and they could do it. When they give you this money, it's not actually there. They are creating it out of thin air and then writing on paper, oh, this is here. But if you actually want to know where that money's coming from, they're creating it. What we're doing here is by all the people joining together, we're activating all of our unlimited money, and we're going to control it. No longer are the governments going to have it and just throw you a bone here and there. No, we have every right to live in comfort and abundance, and this is what we're doing, and it's happening. And we're so divinely blessed to have what occurred in this past year with what you call the pandemic, that has awakened so many, and to know that the time is now to do this. So
What about
people godsend.
some more questions? What about people who are not aware of this? Well, one thing I'd say is share it. So get them involved in the Facebook and the Telegram groups. That's one. As far as will people know about this when it's rolled out? Well, yes, heck yeah. We're going to be such a huge global voice. Things will shift, and that the what would you say, the current censorship of that's going on will be gone. We have some people actually stepping forward in the alternative news that as soon as our website is up, that they're going to start promoting it. So we're super excited about that. Tim, I don't know if you're just jumped on the call or if you've been on for a while, but he has a question in regards to being a homeowner and whether or not he would have to give that up. And no, you get to keep what you currently have. So there's no losing. You won't be losing anything through this system. There is only going to be gain. Also, let's see, Sean D. You were talking about having she has medical income and currently she's restricted. She can't work. They won't let her if she wants to work. No restrictions. You know, you're going to be getting your comfort money in the beginning. And yes, contributions from everybody, right? Everybody can contribute. There's no restrictions. You won't lose. There are people I know that are on Social Security or some kind of government funding, and they can't go back to work even though they want to. And then that'll just go away. That won't be a restriction upon anybody any longer. How to join? Like I mentioned, to get on the Facebook group, get on the Telegram, and the website's coming. And as soon as the website comes, tell everybody to get in there and sign up. And the faster we all sign up and we consent to this new divine plan, the faster it will shift, and we'll be able to go into the funding phase very quickly. Boy, we've got questions coming up. I'd
just like to add to that there is in the Facebook group, there is a contributor questionnaire post that Christina did that you can find if you just scroll down a little bit, and you can fill that out, and then Christina or myself will reach out to you or someone else to see how you can assist with this, because everybody can assist somehow. We've all got experience that can contribute to this divine mission, whether it's with your family, your community, it was online somehow, or whatever your thing is. So yeah, do reach out, and it is fun to get those contributor questionnaires, because there's so many divine ones for all of us to meet, and it is so fun to meet on a divine mission and to co-create this together. There is a really cool message here that I'm sure Rick would like to comment on. Mike says, Rick, does this have anything to do with Nasara? Sounds like what you were talking about is from a much higher dimensional aspect than Nasara. Seems like Nasara is still tied to 3D.
I'll just keep it simple with this. Yeah, at this stage, what humanity is capable of achieving in months, it makes Nasara and Jasara look primitive indeed. There's several things when one looks at Jasara about needing an asset-backed currency, and other things. One thing like with the Constitution from the past to bring it in force. All of these things from the past that were written, they are, let's say, infiltrated. We have the opportunity just to throw all of that away, clean the slate, and just begin the simplified new. As you mentioned before, you know, each one knows in their heart what is right or wrong. You don't need 4,000 pages wrote up describing it. That's nonsense, and that's ridiculous. So yeah, it's Nasara and Jasara for I is primitive. You know, there are some. There may be a form of that does come into fruition somehow, because what is also occurring is that the world leaders are watching what we're doing. All governments have watched me. and they are getting pretty frantic with it. And I don't need to point to certain confirmations of that because I know it. But that is great as well. So we keep going forward, and that forces them to up any antes, but they can't compete with us. So this is magical. As they keep trying to up the antes, they are raising the hope level of the others, and here we are. Then the others can see us, what we have, all of the people, and just join together. So it's a very beautiful um, thing that is occurring as well. You can look at it from so many different perspectives, but when you stand back and you look at the big picture, you can see that everything that is occurring globally is converging to what we're doing here now. And ultimately, it has to. Governments and leaders cannot contend with the people. Globally, there are perhaps less than 200,000 leaders. And when you put that up against a billion or 5 billion people, you know that majority rules. So it's simplistic numbers as well. Okay, I'll stop.
It's all good. I'd like to give a high-level, simple answer. Somebody was asking, how is it possible to have limitless amounts of money for the size of the population as large as ours? And I just would like to invite you to shift a little bit, in that when it comes down to it, it's really not about the money. It's about choice. And we are offering a new system of choice. We haven't been offered that before. When the children went to school, they weren't offered to learn God's law over the maritime law, right? You weren't offered as a child to learn your passions. As an adult, sometimes you weren't offered as to be able to go to school for free, right? To learn what it is you wanted to learn, because it was a restriction of money. Regard it being limitless, the money is our creation. If you look back through the history of time, money is man-made. So we ourselves are infinite. There is no limit. And as you continue to listen and look into the plan and get more involved, you'll see that. You'll be able to see the expansion of what we are. So that's my invitation to you on that aspect. There is no constraints. There is no limit to money, because we are the money.
Exactly. And to make the choice, we have lengthy comparison sheet, if you will, made up as well to assist ones in seeing why, if you will. I'll use a 3D term. It's a no-brainer choice for anyone. And again, I go back, even, children are more intelligent than some of the world leaders that were there now, and they understand it and can grasp it. So it's yeah. So it's pretty simple. I was trying to get rid of this chat because it was a little bit distracting. Henry, do you know how to do that, or I'll figure it out for another time? Because I love, someone else reading the questions.
Sorry, I was reading while you started.
That's perfect. Go ahead. We're good.
Yeah, but I don't even need to read out loud what the questions the person is saying right now. But we've been going for an hour. I don't know if you want to keep going, but I think that maybe divinely it's time to end it here.
I agree. I would like to suggest that all of those who didn't get their questions answered to go onto the Facebook group. I put a post out there, and I believe I pinned it to the top, asking you what your questions are so that we can answer them. And also we're developing a list of questions and answers so that we can attach that to the Facebook, excuse me, to the website, so that people have a resource to get a lot of questions answered. People that are not maybe able to get onto the live question and answer. And then Henry, do you want to do another shout out for your needs of social media?
Yeah, if anyone that knows anything social media to contact me, that would be great, with any platform or any knowledge you want to share, or just the desire to get involved, reach out. We're looking to be on much more social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Discord. There's so many out there. So yeah, reach out would be much appreciated.
We also, as Henry, for those who came on late, we also have on the Facebook group, on the Files tab, we have a form for the global representative and also the contributors. So everybody is welcome. There's a place for all of you with all of your skills and talents and passions. So please step forward so we can bring this into fruition sooner and sooner. Rick, if you want to maybe close us out, or if there's anything else you wanted to add before Rick closes us out, Henry? You good, Henry?
Oh, I'm okay, yeah.
Okay, Rick, if you want to take us out.
Yeah, of course. So before we go, what I wish to say, if this is feeling good for you, if you like it, share it far and wide with your family and friends, and say, hey, here's just a choice I'm just showing you. And share it by word of mouth. You can make up a sign, put it on your lawn, whatever you wish to do. But the quicker you get the word out to everyone with whatever way you do it, use your ingenuity in your favorite grocery store, just on the bulletin board, put it up, or what have you. The quicker we get the word out, the quicker we develop this magic number of autographs we like to have. Then we take it further and begin to get very serious with implementing it, so we can get the comfortable money to everyone and free everyone globally very quickly. So it's important to get this word out, share it, social media, whatever way you wish. Get this word out to each and every one. Also, we wish for some to begin to contact us with children, let's say between 12 and perhaps 20 years old or 18. Contact Christina, if you will, the children that understand this, because this is important to them as well, and we would wish to involve some of their words on this. What do they think of it? And also to show to the adults, for the adults that may not get it yet, just have some of the children speaking and say, hey, this is a no-brainer as well. And so I wish to say that, get the word out, and we can use all of the assistance, yes, that's out there as well, and go on to our group on Facebook, and as Henry and Christina said, there's contributor forms there, and there's also geographical or country representatives forms there. So we wish to have all of this, even what we're doing tonight, translated in all languages, get it out there. But we also wish for representatives to be stepping forward to assist, team leaders, IT, what have you. Everyone that wishes to volunteer, step forward and assist, so that we get this going very quickly. It is going quickly, however, we want it to exponentially get out there so we get this done and take humanity out of the misery. So having said that, be sure you Henry had put it in the chat comments, the one where we spoke about what the system is. So you should watch that in conjunction with this, and that gives you some info on what it is. And in here we answered a few questions. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Christina, for doing such an amazing job here again tonight, and for coordinating all of this. And it's just utmost gratitude, and very impressed with all your work. And you as well, Henry, just thank you so much, and much gratitude for all that you do. And yeah, and we're having fun making new friends, and it's beautiful, the unity. So
Yes.
I'll leave it there if
Well,
everyone is done. And
yep, that's good. All right.
with it, and lots of winks. Yeah.
Have a
We
night,
got-
everybody.
Love and
Yeah,
light. Thank you.